Hi, everyone. Welcome to Regulation Rundown. I'm Jim Paolino, and joined, as always, by Elena Gardner. We're wearing our Settlewise colors. Thank you, Settlewise, our sponsor. And we're excited to talk about all things regulations right now.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
I got a lovely email from Housing Wire this morning that says rates are going up. We're closer to 7 than 6,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate. And I think everyone is definitely feeling it. And especially, we saw a quite a little burst at
Yeah.
Settlewise as rates were going down.
hmm
How are you feeling about the market now with everything going on, Jim?
I mean, it's long term, it's going to be good. I
Yeah.
think long term, we'll see rates going down. Long term, there's a lot of things that are moving in a good direction. In terms of interest rates, I mean, especially because the job market is struggling. Unfortunately, global uncertainty doesn't really help anything. The market hates uncertainty. And I think that's what we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it. One of the things we didn't even mention in our prep too is there was actually a housing bill that passed Congress and Senate, right? About no, that just shows you how many things are happening so crazily, right? And there are a lot of just remembered it as we were
Yeah.
starting here, right? So I know they made some allotments to make it easier to build homes
Mm.
to hopefully fix the supply issue. So there are a lot of things that are trending in the right direction, but it's very who the hell knows what the next couple of weeks, couple of months are going to hold.
Yeah, and I think there's, the one key takeaway I had, I'm currently shopping for a home, and we'll talk a little
Woohoo!
bit more about that in full disclosure. I'm going to share we're under contract. But when I was at ICE Experience, we were still in the process of putting offers in on homes, and the market is very different in different areas of the
Yeah,
country. In the Northeast, we're talking about a house going on the market on Sunday at noon and closing offers at Monday at noon, right? And I was talking to some folks from Texas. They're seeing houses on the market for 3-4 months, right?
yeah,
So I think it's really showcasing some of those regional differences right
yeah,
now,
mhm,
and how your business is working is going to be very different state
yeah.
to state.
I saw Logan from Housing Wire presented at a conference I was at recently, and he
Mhm.
was saying 1/3 of all homes nationwide get price cuts. Barely happens here.
It
Right.
doesn't
Yeah.
happen. I can tell you
Exactly.
my
Yeah.
offer was not a price cut.
Yeah. Well, no, that's even not even go up below S. That's on we can't
Oh,
sell
yeah,
this
we can't
house.
sell this. We
We're
brought it
going to
down.
do
Yeah.
a price improvement, as my realtor told me when we had to do one when we were selling it.
Yeah. And I think sometimes too, I think there's a lot of content, and I've been getting a lot of it online right now about coaching people to sell their house at the right rate. But then also in different areas,
Yeah.
there's places where it's like, okay, well, you're coming in at market ask and what
Yeah.
comps are saying, and then it's completely different on the other end
Yeah.
because of the inventory shortages.
Yeah.
So it's really wild. And I think working with a hyper local agent is so important right
Yeah.
now, more so than ever.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then what else is going on in the regulation world?
Let's see, you talked about Better, or we were gonna talk
We can
about
talk
Better.
about better
Crypto-backed mortgage.
mortgages.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because they can change so quickly, right?
Yeah.
So how much,
Yeah.
even I'm doing the $10,000 out of our retirement that you can
Mhm.
get without the tax disadvantage for first time home buyers,
Yeah.
right? And I looked at my retirement account. It was a very different number in February, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Right. So how does that adjust to the crypto market when you can see these huge
Yeah.
swings? So I'm interested to see how that works
Yeah,
out.
I don't know. I mean, you've seen it kind of bleed its way in because people have had to use crypto holdings to verify people's assets, right? Because that you
Mhm.
could have substantial amount of money in investments just like you would in stocks or bonds or something like that. Crypto is more volatile.
Mhm.
So it's, we're starting to see that. Yeah, it's not something I know a ton about, but it's interesting.
I mean, it's the first time that we've seen Fannie or Freddie back one of these
And
products,
a
right?
lender, I think the statue of Better getting
Yeah.
involved in it too. I think that's the why it's a little bit different too. I mean, Better has had their ups and downs, but
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, right, like they're approving it for one lender. They're
yeah,
not approving it for
right.
everybody, right?
Yeah, you see like there's, different pilot programs they have. They do, 12 loans in a year, right? So like it's good that they're trying these things and trying to see what's going to work in the market, but it's very slow to actually like lead to change too.
Yeah.
One of the things I saw Matt Van Fossen, who's been on our podcast before, he was mentioning that basically there's like three categories of lender right now. People are buyers, or sellers, or holding pat, right? And I think we are really seeing that activity. The buyers are buying, the sellers are selling, then everyone else is waiting to see what happens when the dust settles. But one
Mhm.
of the things we had to talk about was the Two Harbors deal, and
Yeah.
there's a bidding war right now going on. So it's really interesting to see, that the buyers, people in buying mode, are getting pretty aggressive
Yeah.
with the things because there are things to be bought
There are
at a good price
value.
right now. There's value right now. So
Yeah. And I think the other thing in regulation space is Freddie actually released, it's been about a month
Yeah.
now, AI guidelines. And there was, in speaking with some lenders, it seemed like the primary problem with these guidelines is really there's no definition. They haven't defined what AI is, right? And I think that's going to be one of the biggest issues we see in the regulation of AI is it really needs to be carved out as what is AI versus automation,
Yep.
right? And one of the things that a lender I spoke to said that was very frustrating is it felt like lenders were going to be held accountable for actors of vendors behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And how do you ask your vendors to hand over their quote unquote secret sauce, right?
But
How you're doing your work, how you're performing these tasks.
I don't even know what AI is.
Exactly.
So I just want to go like, am I AI?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so I think I think that's going to be something to watch out for. I'm
Mhm.
interested to see if Fannie follows in terms of any AI regulation, if they maybe do a cleaner rollout. Because I get the anxiety around AI underwriting and all
Yeah.
of that, right? The black box nature of it all, but also you can't lump in existing automation that's been around for years and if then statements into AI because
Yeah.
they're not, right?
And just the problem with trying to, like, yes, there should be regulations around this, but it's such a moving target and it's so tough and you have people implementing regulations who don't understand the technology and, it's so.
Every
It's,
week an AI tool is better than the other,
yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
and I think that can make it so tough.
And 3 times better than it was a week ago.
Exactly.
It's wild place we live in.
So
Well,
with that, thank you to Settlewise for sponsoring the segment. And if you're in need of a free calculator to quote your title fees and all of that, go check out the Settlewise website or sign up for Lodestar Discovery on the Lodestar page. So we'll see you all next month.